Hi again, everybody. Robin Hook with you live from Himes Field, Robert J. Bob Stadium in Kalamazoo. It's Western Michigan and the Toledo Rockets in Game 3 of a weekend series in the MAC. Toledo took the opener 3-2. The Broncos won a thriller yesterday by a score of 8-6, thanks to a 5-run third inning by the Broncos and some solid starting pitching from Sam Carlisle and an excellent 2-inning save for Turner Doran. It also included some fireworks on the field in the 8th inning. Toledo trying to rally back. Play went against them at first base on a ground ball that was fielded by Drew Howard. A throw that was wide of the bag at first was fielded by Avery Thielman, falling to the ground. Umpire Ian Land said he stayed on the bag. The Toledo coaching staff didn't think so. It resulted in the ejection of head coach Rob Reinstedel and his third base coach. And the Broncos went on to win it by a score of 8-6. Broncos are now 16-15 overall, 11-6 in the MAC, and right in the hunt in the MAC race. Toledo, a game ahead of the Broncos at 12-5 in conference play. They're 16-18 overall. Earlier today, we caught up with head coach Billy Gernon, looked back at yesterday, and talk more about today's matchup with the Rockets. Well, it's the rubber game of a 3-game series, Western Michigan and the Toledo Rockets. The Rockets won Friday's game 3-2. Broncos took Saturday 8-6. And it's a big game for the Broncos and the Rockets with head coach Billy Gernon. And coach, this is what you want an opportunity to do, win a series against a good team.
You know, we did after dropping that first game 3-2, and you can't get the games back, and you got to show up the next day, have a short memory, just take the game that's in front of you. We were able to win yesterday, I thought, in kind of a convincing fashion, and now we're set up like we wanted to have a chance to win the series at home.
Let's start with Sam Carlisle, the Portage product. Gave you 7 innings, threw 112 pitches, gave up 6 hits, just 2 runs, only 3 walks, and 8 Ks.
You know what's crazy about Sam is as good as he was, he could have been better. You know, he scattered 5 free bases. I think he had 4 walks and a hit batsman, or 3 walks and a hit batsman, whatever it was. But he had the 8 strikeouts, and his stuff is just really good. It's hard to get a barrel on him, and I think they got one good swing on him that went pretty deep into right field early. That was caught by Holmes, and then it was just pretty much letting the defense do their job behind him, and I like that we were good defensively yesterday. I thought the defense let us down a little bit on Friday, but we didn't have an error yesterday, and that proved to be the reason that we won the game.
They took the lead with a run in the 2nd inning, but you put a 5 spot on them in the 3rd.
Yeah, we did. We were able to get on Fry, their starter, and guys just kept passing the stick and kind of fell into what we're trying to be, which is a 9-man scoring unit, and we definitely were in that inning.
Yeah, you'd think in a 5-run inning there was a 2-run bomb in there, but no, it was just base hit, walk, stolen base, go the other way.
Yeah, no, we were just having good at bats, and a little bit of yesterday was really a focus of trying to get into their pen a little bit because the lining are going so deep. These things, you know, you've got your battles and then you got your war, and you can lose a battle on Friday and still win the war, and we're positioned to do that, and I like that we were able to cut into their pen a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, you got into their bullpen. They used lefties on you all day, and the lefty who was scheduled to start today had to come in and relieve Fry.
Yeah, no, I was kind of glad to see him come in, even though he did pretty well. I think he struck out, I think he had 4 strikeouts, maybe 5 strikeouts, and 3 or 4 innings of work. But we were still able to, you know, continue to tack on, and that's what I shared with the guys. We didn't sit on that 5 spot, and that's what you have to do in these games. These are heavyweight fights, man, and the heavyweight punchers, nobody quits punching, including us. And Toledo punched back at us late, but it just wasn't enough. When we took some punches and continued to deliver them, we ended up getting the decision 8-6 and tied the series.
They made a run at you there in the 8th. They got 2 runs in, they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and you had to go to your closer for a 6-out save.
Well, listen, you know, you don't want to use him, but you want to use him to win a game. You just win a game and you go to the next one. And I was sitting there talking to Putnam. I'm like, are we ever going to put Turner Doran in when there's not 65 people on base with nobody out? I mean, the guy, he's tremendous at what he does. He's tremendous at damage control. He never breaks down out there. He just keeps grinding and keeps fighting. And we made some good defensive plays to help him out behind him. And, you know, you do too, Robinson. But you feel good when Turner's in the game. And he was able to, you know, keep it where it was and get us a win and pick up his 8th save. Got
to go to a controversial play over there at first base that went
in the Broncos' favor. It was a bouncer on the infield, and Drew Howard came up with the ball and threw it a bit wide of first base on the right field side of first base. You got a 6'5" first baseman in Avery Thielman, and he used every inch of 6'5" to catch that ball and stay on the bag.
The only thing that would have been better is one of those maple trees up on the hill here at Himes over at first base to reach that. But that was a huge play in the game, and the diving catch that Meneke made earlier in the game down the line, I thought were two defensive standout plays. And I think that's why the infielders, they love having somebody big over there, because they can clean up their mess. And that's what Avery did in that situation. It ended the inning and just put us in a good position to go win the ball game.
Ian Land was the first base umpire, and he was adamant that Avery Thielman stayed on the bag when he caught the ball and then came off the bag as he fell to the ground. Coaching staff for Toledo didn't quite see it that way, and there were a couple of ejections.
Yeah, and listen, I don't blame them. They're out there fighting for it. But, you know, after the inning was over, I asked Avery, just out of curiosity, he said 100% he held the bag. And what's interesting about that is Avery was extremely adamant and confident, and so were the mechanics of Ian, the umpire at first base, when that play happened. It wasn't a delay. He was immediate, hopping up and down, pointing at the bag like 6 or 7 times that he held. And I think it's hard to argue when an umpire sells with conviction. You know, you just appreciate it, right or wrong. And we got the benefit of the call, and I'll tell you what, we don't always. And so when we do, chalk it up, baby, you know?
Absolutely. They ended up getting 2 runs in that inning. Turner came back out for the 9th, and they put 2 more runs on the board, and they brought the tying run to the plate in Saborn Campbell. Coach, he had a towering fly ball to deep left field. I gotta be honest, man, I thought it was gone, but Meneke jumped up and hauled it in.
You know, I've seen so many games here. I thought it had a chance, but the way that the wind was blowing yesterday, it was actually favoring the ball to left. He hit it high enough. And listen, we got that big 16-foot fence in left field, which is kind of an aesthetic beauty here, but quite honestly, with the big logo on the front of it. But you got to get it over the top of that thing, and no doubt he squared it up. But it didn't go out. And that's why you got 9 guys out there helping one guy get people out. And I didn't think for 1 second that it was going to be easy the last couple of innings. I really didn't. It's just guys swinging and throwing haymakers, and we threw enough haymakers that they weren't able to come back and win the game.
That left field fence is the green monster in Fenway's Himes version, the big brown monster.
Yeah, no, it is. And I just haven't seen a lot of cheap home runs over that fence since I've been here. Now, if the wind's blowing out hard to left, you know, you could flick him out with a sand wedge. But yesterday it really took a man's swing to get it out, and he didn't get enough of it. And here we are looking at a rubber match today.
Kate Sullivan wore out that wall.
Yes, he did. I have a few vivid memories of him doing that.
Let's talk about your shortstop, Mike Maloney. You know, this field was opened in the late 30s, 1930s. I think Mike Maloney would fit right in on that team.
Mike could play in any generation, you know. He's just, I talked about it earlier in the year with you. I think he even released some video of you and I, you know, him playing and me talking. He's just a Mr. Ordinary. And I don't mean this disrespectfully. He's just a really boring shortstop. And because he's so boring and ordinary, he's extraordinary. And not only that, he's a smart, heady ball player. He's got great acumen for the game, and he is a tough out. And that's why he doesn't look like your prototypical 4-hole, but I put him in there because it's an RBI situation. It's rare for him to strike out. And he had some massive 2-out base hits yesterday. It just kept extending the lead. And when you do that, it makes it so hard to come back when guys start running out of outs.
He's got the short haircut. He's got the best mustache in the Mid-American Conference.
No, he does. He'd have fit on a lot of the 70s rosters around here, too. But Mike's, you know, I talk about in our program, the number one word in our program is trust. Players trust me, I trust them. Mike's one of the, you know, plays the toughest position on the field, and I trust him as much as anybody I've ever coached at that position to make the routine play. And it's comforting. It's kind of like Doran. You know, when you have that kind of trust in those areas, it's comforting. Not much as comforting when you're coaching. And those two things are for me.
Wouldn't characterize him as a home run hitter, but he's got 5. But the thing that he does so well is he uses the whole field. A couple of the hits this weekend have been down the right field line.
Well, the one yesterday, the first baseman was not off the line very far, and he still shot it past the first baseman down the right field line. And he's playing a little bit with a tweaked hamstring, too, or that probably would have been a double. I'm just telling him to, be that 5-year veteran. And he's 23, but looks like he's 43, and just keep doing his thing. But he gives you good at-bats, and he'll be in the 4-hole again today. I expect him to do well, too.
The other thing about Mike is the rest of the team really looks up to the guy.
He does, man. He's really calm, right? The game never speeds up on him. It doesn't speed up on Pilarski either, and Pilarski's just a freshman. Those are two defensive guys where the game is slow to them, and they don't get sped up, and it keeps them calm. And I think Mike is a calming presence out there, and he sees a lot of things, like having a coach on the field, so it's special.
Defensively, the Broncos have been using the shift quite a bit. You put 3 infielders on one side of the diamond for a right-handed hitter and the other side for a left-handed hitter. And wow, leaves a massive hole on the left or right side of the infield. But it seems to work, although it didn't a couple of times yesterday.
Yesterday was the first time all year that we were uncomfortable with it. And, we pay a decent amount of money, like probably every Division I team in the country, for analytics from 643 Charts is the company. It is scary how accurate these reports are, and you see it at the big league level until they outrule the overshift. But you and I were talking, sometimes I look out there with a right-handed hitter and I see all my infielders on the shortstop side of second base, and I don't like the optic. And we did get burned by it yesterday on a right-hander, and then we got burned by the shift on the left-hander. But I can also tell you the great play that Mike made Friday in the 6-hole. He was sitting in the 6-hole, and that guy had a 98% of all ground balls hit on the left side of second base. It's hard to argue that. And so when you get beat by the 1%, it's when it gets to the 70%, it's when we don't overshift. But there are guys in this lineup that are pulling the ball at 96 to 97 to 98% of the time when they hit it, and that's not 3 ground balls. That's a big sample size. So we pay the money and we choose to trust it, and it has paid off way more than not.
All right, today you go with Ricky Kidd. He's been a really nice pickup for you, Coach.
No, he has. He's a lot like McKinstry, man. He just pounds his own with 3 pitches. He works quick. He's quick to the plate. It's hard to run on him. Veteran, doesn't get sped up, calm under pressure, and nothing more than I would like to see him go out and have a good outing today and stay undefeated in MAC play.
He's been giving you a lot of innings.
He really has, and I think we might have had a little more better success in Game 3 against Central Michigan, but he was on double short rest because of the Easter weekend, and they moved the series up, and then the weather forced him to pitch on Friday, so he threw the Sunday before that here and threw 105 pitches, and he's been a reliever for most of his career, so we've been trying to build him and protect him at the same time. And he was a warrior. He went out there and gave us 60 or 70 pitches at Central and just ran out of gas. And he was only on 4 days. I don't do that normally except in a MAC tournament. When the rubber's going to hit the road and it's last man standing over there. But we did it, and he did it, and it was a close game. He's well rested. I would love to see him get into the past the century mark on pitch count and give us a good quality start and see if we can't win this series.
Avery Thielman was back in there yesterday. Of course, he made the great play at first base to get the out there when you really needed one, but he also got a couple of big hits for you.
He did, and his splits are better against left-handed pitching, and so I wanted to give it a shot. I went for a defensive lineup with him too at first, and he did have a couple of big hits, and no bigger play than the pick that he made to end that threat there when Doran was on the mound. And he had such a good day, and I'm just going with a hunch. He feels good, right? So when guys are feeling good, I'm going to leave him in there and see how it goes. I've got Rowold back in the lineup with the wind blowing out to right center today a little bit. But I'm going to be keeping my eye on Polubensky on the bench and Ostrander as a possible right or left-handed pinch. So I like our lineup, and I like our options.
I like Rowold's bat. He's a grad transfer from Bellarmine down there in Louisville.
Yeah, he played junior college ball at Swick with Maloney. That's how, and so did Doran, and that's just a nice little connection of those guys. And Mike and Maloney and Turner Doran were telling me what a great teammate this kid was, and what a hard worker. And they were dead money, man. He's been even though we've only got him for 1 year, Jake makes our locker room better. and he's becoming a little bit more of a tougher out, and I hope he has a good day today.
They're throwing a 6'6" right-hander, redshirt freshman from Indianapolis, transfer from Cincinnati.
Yeah, Fliss has got some pretty interesting numbers. I think he's looking at close to 30 innings, got 34 strikeouts. He's only walked 15. Batting average against is respectful. We'll just see how far he can go and, what it's going to be like, how guys can handle. The ball's going to move around the park a little bit more today, I think, than it has in the past 2 days. So it's going to take a special approach and a special attitude from the mound to handle, possibly a big offensive day. So we'll see how it goes, and I feel good with Ricky. I feel good with our lineup. They can swing it, man. I mean, Toledo is one of the better offensive teams that we've faced so far this year, but we could be 2-0 pretty easy right now. So I'm looking maybe about 4:30 we'll be 2-1 before it's, and win the series.
Sounds like a plan. Coach, thanks for the time and good luck in this one.
Yeah, Robin, thanks. Go Broncos.
Coach Billy Gernon before today's game. He's at home plate with Toledo head coach Rob Reinstedel and our umpiring crew today. Ian Land behind the plate, Don Umlin at first, and Chris Viverito down at third base. Here's your lineup for the Toledo Rockets. Leading off, playing right field, Cade Baker. Batting second, the shortstop, Charlie Shulvin. Hitting third, playing third base, Troy Sudbrook. Batting fourth, behind the plate, Jacob Payne. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Carson McCaleb. Hitting sixth, playing center field, Liam Arsich. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Saborn Campbell. Batting eighth, playing first base, J.P. Wagner. And hitting ninth, playing second base, Ryan Sudbrook. The Rockets will start a 6'6" righty, Michael Fliss. For the Broncos, leading off in center field, Tanner Maloney. Hitting second in right field, Cooper Hums. Batting third, the second baseman, Drew Howard. Hitting fourth, the shortstop, Mike Maloney. Batting fifth, playing left field, Mark Meneke. Hitting sixth at first base, Avery Thielman. Batting seventh, the DH, Jacob Rowald. Batting eighth, playing third base, Mason Pilarski. And batting ninth, behind the plate for the Broncos, Nolan Sajak. Time now for our national anthem here at Himes Field. Ricky Kidd getting the start today for the Broncos. Transfer from Michigan out of Trenton, Michigan, downriver, Detroit area. Check Ricky's numbers in his final season of college baseball.
Now,
this will be his 8th appearance. Actually, his 9th appearance, all in a starting role. 42 and a third innings of work, 40 hits, giving up 24 runs, 22 of those earned, 16 walks, and 24 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .253 on Ricky with a record of 3-1 and an earned run average of 4.68. Broncos defensively have Mason Pilarski at third, Maloney at short, Drew Howard is at second base, Avery Thielman over at first base today. The left fielder is Mark Meneke. Tanner Maloney, the nation's leading hitter, center field, and over in right, Cooper Hums. Broncos dressed in their gold tops today with the brown sleeves and the cream collar pants with the golden brown trim, the brown socks with the gold stripes, and the two-tone cap, brown cap with a gold bill and that beautiful Bronco logo on the front. Rockets wearing the road grays today with the midnight blue trim. Western Michigan comes in with a record of 16-15. The Broncos 11-6 in the MAC, just 2 games out of first place. And Coach Billy Gernon's 16th season here at Western Michigan. MAC standings look like this. Kent on top at 13-4. Ball State and Toledo tied for second at 12-5. Then it's Western Michigan, Miami, and Northern Illinois, all 11-6. Bowling Green right now on the outside of the 16 MAC tournament in 7th place, 8-9. Chippewas 6-11. Akron is 5-12 along with Eastern Michigan. UMass and Ohio at the bottom of the MAC standings at 4-13. If you missed those scores from Friday, Ohio defeated Miami 7-6. It was Ball State over Akron 13-8. UMass beat Eastern Michigan and Ypsilanti 4-2. Toledo a 3-2 winner over the Broncos on Friday. Northern Illinois 10-run rule against Kent 12-2, and Bowling Green outlasted Central Michigan 5-4. Those were the Friday scores. We'll give you a Saturday here in a minute as we're ready for the first pitch of the game. Ricky Kidd to the windup, and the pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. To the leadoff hitter from Whitney, Texas, junior Cade Baker. He's playing in right field. A .352 hitter, 3 home runs, and 17 runs batted in. There's a pitch that is inside, and the count goes 2-0. One of the nicest days of the season so far here at Himes. Temperature should get to the low 70s today. Two and one the count now on the hitter, Cade Baker. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swung on and lifted high and foul down the left field line, out of play. And the count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Ricky Kidd on a slider gets Cade Baker on a strikeout. 1 down here in the Rocket first inning. That'll bring up Charlie Shulvin, the shortstop. He's a junior out of Lewis Center, Ohio. He's hitting .344, 2 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Kicking the pitch from Kidd is swung on and driven into left field. Going back and playing it off the fence is Meneke. Heading into second base is Charlie Shulvin. He's got a stand-up double here with 1 out in the first inning. The junior out of Lewis Center, Ohio, smoked that one to the .375 mark in deep left center field here at Himes Field. It's going to bring up the 3-hole hitter, Troy Sudbrook, junior from Avon, Ohio, side of the MAC tournament at the end of May. He's playing third base today. Top hitter on this Toledo team, batting at .358. Leads them in home runs with 6 and paces them in RBIs too with 45. He's a left-handed hitter against the righty Ricky Kidd, who works from the first base side of the rubber. The pitch is just off the corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Ricky's from Trenton. Great baseball town. Blue-collar town there. Southwest of Detroit. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul back and out of play. Broncos have had a few players from Trenton, including the great Connor Charping. Ball and a strike to Troy Sudbrook. Swing and a bouncer that is into right field for a base hit. That's going to score a run. Sudbrook with the big turn at first. He will hold with an RBI single. So a 1-out double by Chauvin and a 1-out single to right by Troy Sudbrook, and the Rockets have the lead.
Number 11, Jacob Payne.
That'll bring up Jacob Payne. He's the catcher for this Rockets squad, a junior out of Panama City, Florida, hitting .333 with 3 home runs and 30 runs batted in. The pitch to him is in the dirt, blocked by Zajac. Sudbrook holds it first. Throw over to first, runner gets back. Kidd, another toss to first, and Sudbrook gets back standing. Payne has good power too. 3 home runs, 30 runs batted in, batting in the cleanup spot all weekend. Here's the pitch, though. Swing and a pop foul. That will find the berm beyond the first base line. Count now 1-1 on Payne. He'll be followed by Carson McCaleb, who's had a nice weekend for the Rockets at the plate. Payne stands deep in the box, back on that right leg, front foot up on the toe, and he'll load up and bounce one to second base. Howard will go to second. They get one. The relay is not in time, says Don Umlin down there at first base. So a fielder's choice. Retires Sudbrook. Payne on at first. And Carson McCaleb will bat. And now Coach Gernon trotting out to the third base line. He wants a word with Chris Viverito. Not sure what this is about. Maybe runner interference, potentially. Was not called by the umpiring crew. And Coach Gernon, after the conversation, heads back to the dugout.
For Toledo, number 10, Carson McCaleb.
Here's Carson McCaleb. He's a junior from Lake St. Louis, Missouri, the DH today for the Rockets. He's been in that role all weekend. .346 average with 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in. There's a pop fly down the right field line. Cooper Hums giving chase. He's under it now, reaches up and makes the catch to retire the side. But the Rockets pick up a run on a 1-out double by Chauvin. He came in to score on the single to right by Troy Sudbrook. Rockets lead at 1-0. Broncos coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Game 3 of this weekend series. This is Western Michigan Baseball on YouTube Live at WMUBroncos.com.
The Rockets lead 1-0 with your Broncos coming to bat. Bronco fans, be sure to vote on the @WMU Baseball Instagram story for what song you would like to hear in the 4th inning. for your Broncos, number 2, Tanner Maloney.
Here we go in the bottom of the first inning. Broncos down a run, 1-0. It'll be Tanner Maloney, followed by Cooper Hums and Drew Howard here in the first inning. Facing Michael Fless. He's a 6'6", 225-pound redshirt freshman from Indianapolis. He's got an 0-1 record, a 7.96 earned run average. First pitch to Maloney is outside. 1 ball, no strikes to Tanner Maloney. This will be the 4th start and 13th appearance for Michael Fless. 26 innings of work, 36 hits, 23 runs, 23 of those earned. As Tanner Maloney bounces out to short. 1 down here in the Bronco first. 15 walks given up by Michael Fless. He's recorded 32 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .343 on the big 6'6" righty from Indianapolis, a transfer from Cincinnati. It's a big man out there on the mound. Working from the first base side of the rubber with 1 down. On the bounce out to short by Tanner Maloney. Here's Cooper Hums. Kick of the pitch is inside. Did that hit him? I think it did on the foot, and down to first goes Cooper Hums, hit by the pitch. Hums has kind of slotted into that 2-hole here in the last couple of weeks.
Drew Howard.
Here's Howard, the second baseman, transfer from Evansville out of Ferdinand, Indiana. He's a senior, hitting .379 with a home run and 22 runs batted in. Drew was hitting in the 2-hole. They moved him into that 3 spot with Hums moving up to bat left-handed between Maloney and Howard. First pitch to Drew is up high, 1 ball, no strikes. Hums is running on the pitch. The throw to second base is in time. They got him. Head first slide. The throw from the catcher, Jacob Payne, down to the second baseman, Ryan Sudbrook. And he slapped the tag on Cooper Hums. 2 down here in the Bronco first inning. 2-0 the count on Drew Howard. Tried to get Hums in scoring position for Drew to tie the game. Didn't work out. There's a strike called on the outside corner to Howard. Stands deep in the box, narrow stance at the plate, waves that bat over home plate, now rises it up over the right shoulder and fouls the pitch back and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Drew Howard. Son of a coach down there in southern Indiana. Started at Evansville and playing his final season at Western Michigan. He takes a call, 3rd strike at the knees. And quick work here for Michael Fless. Rockets score 1 in the first and hold the Broncos scoreless. We go to the second inning. Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
1 to Western Michigan 0. Want to take the field like a Bronco? Bring out your Little League team to the ballpark and join Western Michigan on the field for the national anthem. If interested, please visit WMUBroncos.com/anthem buddies.
Kidd back out there for the second inning. He's behind in the count to Arcich. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 pitch is fouled back by Liam Arcich, out of play. Arcich is playing center field, freshman from Okina, Illinois, hitting .279 with a home run and 16 runs batted in. The windup by Kidd in the pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen. And Ricky's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Arcich. Be followed by Saborn Campbell and J.P. Wagner. 6, 7, 8 hitters in the Rocket batting order here today. Kicking the pitch. It's bounced up there. Count evens at 2-2. Robin Hook with you from Himes Field. Glad you could join us today on YouTube Live. Game 3 of this weekend series. Tied at a game apiece. The pitch outside with a fastball. Count goes full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Liam Arcich. Rockets scored in the first on a double and a base hit. The payoff pitch outside, ball 4. Arcich draws a leadoff walk.
Coming up to the plate, number 14, Saborn Campbell.
Here's Saborn Campbell. He's from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Grad transfer from Stanford. Had a couple of hits yesterday. He came in to replace the starter out in left field, Luke Walton, who was injured, running down a ball. Campbell came in, got a couple of hits. Going the opposite way. He squares the bunt and takes a strike. 1 strike on Campbell. .6', 200-pounder out of Bloomfield Hills. Went to Detroit Country Day. Throw over to first. The runner gets back. Plays Saborn deep and straight away in the outfield. And Meneke, who's about 10 feet from the warning track and left. The 1-strike pitch swung on and chopped to third. Scooped up by Pilarski to second for 1. The relay to first in time. Double play. Mason Pilarski to Drew Howard to Avery Thielman.
Number 12, J.P. Wagner.
5-4-3 double play on a hard hit ball to Pilarski, who scooped it up and turned 2. That'll bring up J.P. Wagner, the first baseman. It's a junior out of Toledo, hitting .200, no home runs, and 7 runs batted in. There's a soft line drive that is picked out of the air by Drew Howard. Picked it off his shoe tops, and the side is retired. Quick second inning for Ricky Kidd. We go to the bottom of the second. Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the top of the second for the Rockets, there were no runs on no hits with no errors and no runners left on base. Keeping your score, Toledo 1, Western Michigan 0. Bronco fans, be sure to stop by the marketing table to guess the time of the 7th inning stretch. The contest ends at the end of this inning. Don't miss out. Now batting for your Broncos, number 12, Mark Maloney.
4, 5, 6 hitters due out for the Broncos here in the bottom of the second. They trail Toledo 1-0. It's Mike Maloney, Mark Meneke, and Avery Thielman for the Broncos here in the second inning. Maloney, the grad student from Mokina, Illinois, out of Southwestern Illinois College, hitting .339 with 5 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Pops this one foul, out of play on the berm down the first base line. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mike Maloney. Big day yesterday, 3 hits for the series. He's 4 for 8 with 4 runs batted in. Batting cleanup this weekend for the Broncos. 1-1 pitch, swing and a foul off the mask of the catcher, Jacob Payne. Plate umpire Ian Land walks one back out to the pitcher. Gives Payne a moment to regroup back there. Now we're ready. Ball and 2 strikes to Maloney. Leans back on that back leg. Deep in the batter's box. Takes one high and away. 2-2 on Mike. Open stance, slightly open, but he can use the whole field. There's one that bounces up there, and the count goes full on Maloney, 3-2. Solid player, as we mentioned in the pregame with Coach Gernon. All the players look up to Mike. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the payoff. Swung on and fouled back out of play. Count stays full, 3-2. Play Maloney straight away, not too deep. More of a line drive hitter. There's a line drive right up the middle. Just as we say that, he spanks one right up the middle over the bag at second base. Single to center for Mike Maloney. First hit of the game for the Broncos.
Batting next for your Broncos, number 20, Mark Meneke.
There's Meneke, junior out of Naperville, Parkland College transfer. Played first base in the opener, played left field yesterday. Caught one at the base of the Brown Monster in left. That would have tied the game had it gone out. Takes one in for a strike called at the belt. 1 strike on Meneke. Mark's hitting .276 with a home run and 15 runs batted in. Takes a pitch outside, 1-1. Folks starting to file in here to Himes for game 3 of this weekend series. The 1-1. Swing and a line drive that is caught by the shortstop. Quick throw to first, and Maloney gets back. Chauvin leaped behind the bag and snared that line drive by Meneke. Here's the Kalamazoo native, senior Avery Thielman, the first baseman, hitting .229 with 2 home runs and 19 runs batted in. Had a couple of hits yesterday for the Broncos and made that great play on that throw from Howard. He was able to stay on the bag and get a big final out in the 8th inning when Toledo had something going. They ended up scoring 2 runs, but they had a run in and the bases loaded and nobody out, and Turner Doran was able to get out of it with just 2 runs being scored. Ball over but low to Thielman. It's 2-0 to Avery. Stands deep in the box, open at the plate. Taps that right shoulder. Now the 2-0. Swinging a foul, backing out of play. 6'5" playing first base. Infielders love to have a guy like that over there. Huge target to throw across the diamond. 2. Steps back in. 2-1 pitch. Backed him away. 3 balls and a strike. Fliss, an imposing presence out there on the mound at 6 feet 6 inches tall and 225 pounds. Quick throw to first, and Maloney gets back. Broncos down 1-0 here in the second inning. 3-1 pitch on the way. It's up high, ball 4, and Avery Thielman draws a walk, so runners at first and second with 1 out. And the batter will be Jacob Rowall.
Hitting next for Western, number 8, Jacob Rowall.
Here's Rowall, the grad student from Valmeyer, Illinois. Played with Maloney at Southwestern Illinois College, then went on to Bellarmine in Louisville, where he played last year. Swing and a miss. 1 strike on Rowall. Sitting .211 with a home run and 6 runs batted in. Didn't play yesterday against the left-handed pitching of the Rockets. Takes one in the dirt for a ball, 1-1. Fliss went to North Central High School in Indianapolis. Then at Cincinnati, and then made the move to Toledo. 2 balls and a strike as he misses with that one. Jake's ahead in the count. See if he can put something in play, driving a run here. The 2-1. Swing and a foul back to the screen. He had a good pitch to hit. Fouled it back. Two balls and 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 down here in the second inning. The pitch. Swing and a foul at the plate. Off the front foot of Rowall, who wears that shin protector for just that reason. Left-handed hitters in particular, a tendency to drive that ball down on their ankle, shin bone, and that hurts. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. The pitch. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of the catcher, Jacob Payne, and Rowall goes down on strikes. 2 down, 2 on. The batter will be Pilarski.
Coming up to the plate, number 10, Mason Pilarski.
Rowall with some intel to pass along to Pilarski before Mason steps up to the plate. This freshman's been outstanding in the field for the Broncos out of Macomb, Michigan, playing third base. Quick throw down there to second. Maloney gets back with a head first dive. Pilarski's hitting .220. No home runs. 9 runs batted in for Mason. Could use a big base hit here. Nice hole over there on the right side if he can find it. There's a slider in for a strike. 1 strike to count on Mason Pilarski. Made an uncharacteristic miscue on a bunt in the Friday game that helped Toledo win that 3-2 game and take game 1 of this series. But he's made so many outstanding plays. Gonna miss a couple of them, I guess, if you're playing third base, because when you're playing third base in college baseball, that ball seems to find you down there at the hot corner. There's a check swing and a ball in the dirt. Pilarski lays off. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count now on Mason. Maloney's on at second base with a line drive single. He advanced on the walk to Avery Thielman. Pilarski trying to drive him in. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a foul. Both mom and dad Pilarski, Bronco alums. Mason following in their footsteps from the east side of the state to Kalamazoo. There's a swing and a foul backing out of play. Stays alive, 1-2. Fliss steps off the back of the mound, regroups a bit. Now he's back up there, has his sign. The 1-2 coming up. Swing and a foul down the right field line. And onto the berm. Pilarski laid on the fastball, but he got a piece of it. Ground ball in the hole on the right side should score Maloney. He's at second with a pretty good lead. The pitch, it's in the dirt, bounced up there. Payne blocked it, holds the runners at second and first. Count evens at 2-2 on Mason. Both dugouts out on top of the fence in front of their respective dugouts, enjoying some sunshine. A few scattered clouds, but great to see the sun shining on Himes Field with temps around 70. Here's the kick of the pitch. Checks his swing. Did he go? They appeal to first, and they say he did go around. And Pilarski goes down on strikes. Broncos strand a pair. We go to the third inning. Toledo on top, 1-0. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the bottom of the second inning for Western Michigan, the Broncos scored no runs on 1 hit with no errors and 2 runners left on base. After 2 innings, Rockets 1, Broncos 0. Bronco fans, it's Sunday, so that means kids can run the bases following the conclusion of today's game. Meet the marketing team by the home dugout for your chance to take a lap around the diamond.
I'm one of the greatest, ain't no debating on it. I'm still levitated, I'm heavily medicated. Ironic, I gave him love and they end up hating on me. She told me she loved me and she been weak. Been fighting hard for your love and I'm running thin on my patience. Need someone to hug you, but took you back to the basics. You see what you got me out here doing? Might have threw me off, but can't nobody stop the move. Let's go. Left foot, right foot, levitate. Pop stars, do a leap of the baby. I had to lace my shoes for all the blessings I was chasing. If I ever slip, I'm out into a bad situation. So catch up, go put some cheese on it. Get out and get your spread up. They always leaving me, party, we run together. Weight of the world on my shoulders, I got my head up. Now baby, stand up, 'cause girl, you.
Now batting for the Rockets, number 4, Brian Sudbrook.
We go to the third inning. Toledo with a 1-0 lead. It'll be the 9-hole hitter, Ryan Sudbrook, leading it off. And back to the top of the order. Sudbrook came in as a pinch hitter yesterday. Fouls this one back. 1 strike on him. Ricky Kidd ready to work. The windup and the pitch outside with a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike to the freshman Ryan Sudbrook from Avon, Ohio. With 2 Sudbrooks on this team. Troy is the leading hitter. He hits left-handed though. Ryan, a right-handed hitter. Steps out. This is his 10th start of the season. 16th appearance. There's a pop-up in foul territory. Avery Thielman has a beat on it and makes the catch near the Rocket bullpen down the first base line. 1 out here in the Rocket first.
Number 7, Cade Baker.
Here's Cade Baker batting in the top of the 3rd. His second look at Ricky Kidd, who struck him out to lead off the game. First pitch from Kidd to Baker is up high. Baker is 4 for 10 in the series. He's got 3 RBIs, scored 2 runs, has a couple of doubles. He can really hit, this kid from Whitney, Texas. Second pitch from Ricky's outside, 2-0 the count. The windup of the pitch. There's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cade Baker. The windup and the 2-1. Pop up into left field. This is going to be trouble, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Meneke was playing deep, and Baker in with a slide. He's got a double. That ball hung up in the air, but Meneke was playing deep and left, and that was a bloop single into shallow left field, and Baker took off knowing that thing was going to drop. He was going to get to second base, and he did.
5, Charlie Chauvin.
Great hustle by Cade Baker to turn a bloop hit into 2 bases, and that'll bring up Charlie Chauvin, who doubled and scored in the first inning. Set by Kidd, the pitch. Strike in the outside corner with a fastball. Chauvin is 2 for 9 in the series, including that double here in the first inning of game 3. 0-1 the count on him. Kidd delivers. Check swing. That's a strike at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes. Baker on it, second with a 1-out double here in the 3rd. No balls and 2 strikes to count on Chauvin. The set, the pitch. That one's in the dirt, blocked by Zajac, and holds Baker at second base. Ricky, where's that pitch come on the left wrist? Has the sign from the dugout. The 1-2 is up high. Fastball stayed up, and Chauvin laid off. Count evens now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rockets on top 1-0. They have 3 hits off Kidd. There's a pop-up on the 2-2 offering. It's into right center field. Tanner Malley under it. Now Cooper Hum comes across, makes the catch, fires into the shortstop Maloney, but tagging and heading to third safely is Cade Baker. 2 outs, and the batter will be Troy Sudbrook.
Batting next for Toledo, number 8, Troy Sudbrook.
Sudbrook, who drove in the game's only run, has a chance to pick up another run batted in, with Baker down there at third base and 2 out. Broncos play Sudbrook deep and straight away. Pitch is over but low. 1 ball, no strikes. Ricky Kidd, just as he was going into his delivery, a little swirl of dust came up, circled him as he was ready to throw. Here's the 1 ball, no strike count. Now he steps off. He got dirt in his eye from that little dust bowl that came out of nowhere. Got a little bit of a breeze, but it just seemed to settle right over the pitcher's mound and swirled up and engulfed him. He went ahead and threw the pitch, but then when it came time to throw the next one, he had a little dirt in the eye. Now he's ready to go. 1 ball, no strikes. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a bouncer right back to Kidd. He's got it. And underhands it to Thielman to retire the side. The Rockets get a man to third, but can't get him in. Ricky Kidd with a good job to hold him there. We go to the bottom of the third. It's Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the top of the third for the Rockets, there were no runs on 1 hit with no errors and 1 runner left on base. Your score stays Toledo 1, Western Michigan 0. Western Michigan baseball is headed up to LMCU Ballpark on Wednesday, April 15th to face off against the Michigan State Spartans at 6:05 p.m. Grab your tickets today by visiting WMUBroncos.com/LMCU game. Now batting for your Broncos, number 27, Nolan Zajac.
9-1 two-hitters due up for the Broncos here in the bottom of the third. They trail Toledo 1-0. Nolan Zajac, Broncos sophomore catcher from Carleton, Michigan, hitting .146 with no home runs and 7 runs batted in. Takes second pitch from Fliss on the inside corner. Count evens at a ball and a strike. One the count on Zajac. The kick of the pitch. That's in for a strike at the knees. And Fliss ahead of Zajac, a ball and 2 strikes. Nolan steps out for a second, has a little short conversation with home plate umpire Ian Land. There's a 1-2 offering in the dirt. 2-2 the count on Zajac. Rockets got on the board and back in the first inning on a 1-out double by Shulvin, and Troy Sudbrook singled him in. Only run of the game so far. 2-2 to Zajac is up high. Count full now, 3-2 on Nolan Zajac. Tanner Malley on deck, and he'll be followed by Cooper Hums. Top of the Bronco order. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Zajac. The pitch. That's high, ball 4, and Nolan draws a walk. Leadoff walk for the Broncos here in the 3rd.
Now batting for your Broncos, number 2, Tanner Maloney.
Here's Tanner. He bounced out to the shortstop in the 1st inning. He is 4 for 10 in this series with 3 runs scored. Squares to bunt, pushes one down the first baseline, and he slides, but he came out of the base path. He slid out of the base path to avoid the tag. Touched the first base bag, but Donnie Umlin ruled him out of the baseline. And he is retired, but he'll get credit for his sacrifice, even though he was trying to bunt for a base hit.
Hitting next for your Broncos, number 11, Cooper Hums.
Down to second base goes Zajac. That'll bring up Hums. Hums was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning and then was cut down stealing. Pitch is inside. 1 ball, no strikes to Cooper out of Mishawaka. He's 2 for 6 in the series with 3 runs scored. He's walked a couple of times. Getting 256. The pitch to him just missed outside, 2-0. Broncos trying to get some base runners here for their run producers, Howard and Maloney and Manicky. Zajac gets a lead at second. The pitch. There's a strike. Changeup on the outside corner. 2-1 the count. It's April 12th, 2026. 1 year ago today, Western Michigan hockey won the national championship in St. Louis. There's a foul back and out of play. Tremendous accomplishment for that Bronco hockey team under Coach Pat Ferschweiler, who was the national coach of the year last year. Guided the Broncos to the Elite 8 this year. 1 win away from another Frozen Four, but they lost to the eventual national champion Denver Pioneers, who won last night. They defeated Wisconsin 2-1 to claim their 3rd title in the last 5 years. 3-2 as that pitch was up high to Hums. Full count now to Cooper. Runner at second, 1 out. The pitch. Up high, ball 4, and Cooper Hums draws a walk.
Now batting, number 3, Drew Howard.
Here comes Drew Howard, second baseman. Struck out looking in the 1st inning. He's got a chance to tie this game up with a base hit. Josh Rebrandt, Bronco assistant coach, down there at third base, ready to wave him in if Howard can put something into the outfield. First pitch is outside of Drew. Glenn Miller is the first base coach for the Broncos in his first season here at Western Michigan. Josh Rebrandt in his second season with Coach Gernon. Here's the 1-0. There's a strike, belt high. Drew thought that might have been entitled a little bit, but Ian Land went up with a right hand. 1 ball, 1 strike. Zajac on at first. Hums the runner. I should say Zajac on at second. Hums the runner at first. There's a pitch inside, 2-1 on Howard. Both on base via the walk. Broncos with just 1 hit so far. That was that single last inning by Maloney up the middle. Howard's got a nice hole over there on the right side. He can go that way. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Swung at a ball that bounced up there. And the count evens now at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Howard. Drew was 2 for 7 in the series with a run, an RBI, and a couple of walks. 2-2 the count on him. The pitch, swing and a bouncer to short, could be 2. To second for 1, that's all they'll get, as Howard beats it down to first base. Ryan Sudbrook didn't even throw to first. Instead, he tried to back pick Nolan Zajac at third base, but Nolan held on that bag. So now the Broncos have him at first and third with 2 out, and here's their cleanup man, Mike Maloney. Maloney is 5 for 9 in the series now after that single in the second inning. He's driven in 4 runs and scored a run. Takes one in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes to Maloney. Tying run 90 feet away. Maloney could use that whole field. Put one right down the first baseline yesterday. Quick toss to first, and Howard gets back. Drew's a good base runner. He's got 6 steals and 8 attempts this year. 1 ball, no strikes. Another toss to first. Broncos benefited yesterday from an errant toss from the pitcher to first base that moved some runners along. Tanner Malley was on first. He went all the way to third on that play. And yesterday's 8-6 win. There's a pitch outside, and count goes 2-0 to Maloney. Two balls, no strikes to Mike Maloney. The pitch, swinging a foul, backing out of play. Maloney can move the ball around. Now, Ian Land lost track of the count. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Now he's ready. Get some help from Chris Vivarito out there, umpiring on the bases. 2 balls, 1 strike. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a bouncer into the hole. It's short. They'll go to second for the force on Howard to retire the side. The Broncos strand 2 in the third. We go to the 4th. Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the bottom of the 3rd inning for Western Michigan, the Broncos scored no runs on no hits with no errors and 2 runners left on base. After 3 innings, Toledo leads 1 to Western Michigan 0. Western Michigan softball is back in action on April 17th against the Toledo Rockets for their Alumni Weekend and 50th anniversary celebration. Grab your tickets by visiting WMUBroncos.com/tickets. number 11, Jacob Payne.
We move to the top of the fourth. Toledo leads the Broncos 1-0. Catcher Payne will lead it off. Swings at the first pitch from Kidd. Pops it up into right field. Coming in and under it, Cooper Hums makes the catch. One pitch and one out here in the Rocket fourth inning. Ricky Kidd's thrown 37 pitches.
Carson McCaleb.
He's given up 3 hits, 1 run. Here's McCaleb standing in there. He flew out to right field in the first. Pitch in the dirt, but McCaleb swung at it. 1 strike on him. He is 3 for 10 in the series with a home run, 2 runs scored, and 3 runs batted in. He had a shot over the fence in right field yesterday. It's a pitch that is inside for a ball. 2-1 now on Carson McCaleb. Left-handed hitter. Waves that bat over the left shoulder. There's a pitch up high. Count goes to 3-1 now. Liam Arsic, the center fielder, the on-deck hitter for Toledo. Here's the windup by Kidd and the pitch. Swing and a line drive to right at Cooper Hums. Hums makes the play, and he's retired the first 2 Rocket hitters.
Walking up to the plate, number 17, Liam Arsic.
That'll bring up Arsic, freshman out of McKean, Illinois. Walked in the second inning. He's 3 for 8 in the series with a double, 2 runs scored. Lines one foul onto the berm. Beyond the Rocket dugout down the first base line. 1 strike on him. Kidd trying to work a quick 4th inning here. The 0-1 on the way. Arsic tried to hold up. He went around. No balls, 2 strikes. Kidd trying to set him down here. The 0-2 on the way. Checks his swing this time and takes one in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Saborn Campbell would bat if Arsic can find his way on. The 1-2 coming up from Kidd. Sliders stayed away. Count evens at 2-2. Tried to get him to chase, and Arsic wasn't buying. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They're playing Arsic deep and straight away in the outfield. And they overload the left side, playing him to pull 3 infielders on the left side of the diamond. No runner aboard, so Avery Thielman can kind of close up some of that hole on the right. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a pop foul down the first base line and out of play onto the berm. Count stays full at 3-2. Yesterday, the Broncos implemented this shift with a runner at first base, and Thielman had to hold him on and had left the entire right side of the infield wide open. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Ball 4 outside, and Arsic draws a 2-out walk. That'll bring up Campbell.
Now the plate, number 14, Saborn Campbell.
Stanford transfer from suburban Detroit. Runners going. Throw down to second is not in time. Arsic in with a head-first slide. Stolen base for Liam Arsic, and he's in scoring position. 9th steal in 10 attempts. And the pitch was a ball to Campbell, 1-0. The pitch, swing and a bounce to the right side. Howard's over there. He's got it over to first in time to retire Campbell. The Rockets are out on the 4th. They strand a man. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Still Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live at WMUBroncos.com.
In the top of the 4th for the Rockets, there were no runs on no hits with no errors and 1 runner left on base. Keeping your score, Rockets 1, Broncos 0. Their annual Spring Showcase on April 25th. Bronco fans can participate in a free showcase clinic beginning at 10:30 a.m. Kickoff to the showcase is at 12 p.m. Come out and support the reigning MAC champs. Now batting for your Broncos, number 20, Mark Maloney.
Five, 6, 7 hitters due up here for the Broncos. Meneke swings and drives one to left field. That is caught by Saborn Campbell. Running to his left, reached up with the left hand and hauled it in over the shoulder. Up there by the 375 mark.
Michigan, number 31, Avery Thielman.
Meneke teeing off on the first offering from Fliss. He hit it sharply, but Campbell ran it down. 1 pitch and 1 down here in the Broncos 4th inning. Avery Thielman, the batter, takes the first pitch outside. Thielman walked in the 2nd inning. He's 2 for 5 in this series with 2 runs batted in, a walk and a double. Pitches over but low, 2-0 on Kalamazoo native. Digs back in. He stands right on top of the plate. Takes one for a strike. 2-1. Thielman playing behind Kate Sullivan early in his career. Tough to break into the lineup with a guy like that manning your position. That pitch is high, 3-1. He got a shot last year and started a lot of games for the Broncos. Takes another walk, his 2nd walk of the game. He's on first with 1 out.
Now batting, number 8, Jacob Rowald.
Here's Rowald. DHing today, struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Jake's 1 for 3 in this series with an RBI. and Land walked out to say something to the pitcher. Now they restart the pitch clock, and Rowald swings at the first offering. And this one's going to fall safely into the Bronco bullpen. 1 strike on Rowald. Played at Southwestern Illinois College with Maloney and Turner Doran. Then went to Bellarmine in Louisville, and now a Bronco. Takes a strike at the letters, and he's down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Broncos trailing 1-0, trying to win this series. Dropped a 3-2 game Friday, won yesterday 8-6. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Slider got him. Rowald out on strikes for the second time today.
Nobody. Number 10, Mason Pilarski.
That'll bring up the third baseman, Pilarski. He struck out in his only at bat in this game, back in the second inning. He's 0 for 8 in the series with a walk. Lays off a pitch in the dirt. 1-0 to Mason. Thielman, the runner at first. Broncos trying to put something together here with 1 out in the 4th, trailing 1-0. The pitch, actually 2 outs, I should say. There's a strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 on, 2 out. There's a fly ball into straightaway center field. Arsic has a beat on it. Reaches up and makes the catch to retire the side. The Broncos strand a man. We go to the 5th. Still Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the bottom of the 4th inning for Western Michigan, the Broncos scored no runs on no hits with no errors and 1 runner left on base. Keeping your score, Toledo 1, Western Michigan 0. You voted, and we heard. Here's your song selected by the fans on the Western Michigan Baseball Instagram account. Leading off the inning for the Rockets, number 12, J.P. Wagner.
Here we go, the 5th inning. 1-0 Rockets. 8-9 one-hitters due up for Toledo against Ricky Kidd. And the first pitch to J.P. Wagner is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Wagner, who lined out to Drew Howard in the second inning. He's 2 for 8 in the series. Takes a pitch for a strike. Count even now, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kicking the pitch. Over but low, 2-1. The windup and the pitch from Kidd. Swing and a one-hopper pass to diving Drew Howard at second base into right field. Sharp single to right by J.P. Wagner leading off the fifth. He's on at first, and the batter is Ryan Sudbrook.
Batting next, number 4, Ryan Sudbrook.
Sudbrook, freshman second baseman. Probably in the 9-hole. He's going to bunt here. Let's see. Squares. Throw goes to first. Runner gets back. Ricky has thrown 56 pitches, working here in the fifth inning. Scoring to bunt. Sudbrook pushes it down to third, and Pilarski will take the out at first base. And Sudbrook with a successful sacrifice bunt. Down to second goes Wagner, and back to the top of the order for Toledo, Cade Baker. Set by Ricky. Looks at second. The pitch. Slider in there for a strike. One strike on Baker, who struck out swinging in the first and looped a double into left field in the third inning. There's the 0-1. Now go down to second base with Howard ducking in behind the runner, and he gets back safely. One strike on the Texan, Cade Baker. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a chopper foul over to the Bronco dugout. And Kidd's ahead of Baker. No balls and 2 strikes. This will be a big out to get. This guy can swing it. Hitting over 350 and leading off for the Rockets this season. Kicking the pitch to him. Popped it up. Will it stay in play? Zajak's over by the dugout. It goes into the seats, out of play. So Baker stays alive. He's got a runner in scoring position down there at second base. After Wagner singled and advanced on the sac bunt by Sudbrook. Ryan Sudbrook. 0-2 on Cade Baker. Ricky checks his runner. The kick and the pitch. Bounced it up there, and Zajac blocks it and holds the runner. Nolan gets his gear back and then dons the helmet and the mask. Uses the traditional catcher's mask, not the hockey style catcher's mask. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Swing and a bouncer foul down the third base line. Head coach Rob Reinstedel down there coaching third today. He, along with one of his assistants, got tossed yesterday. 1-2 pitch. Popped up down the first base line. Thielman and the catcher Zajac converge. Zajac holds up at the last minute and allows Avery to track it down in front of the Rocket dugout. Wow, that could have been scary with Zajac and Thielman converging on that little pop-up foul down the first base line. But at the last minute, Zajac pulled off and let Avery lunge and make the catch. Fell to the ground and held on. 2 outs. It's a big out, and they hold the runner at second base. Here's Chauvin. The pitch. Breaking ball is away for a ball. 1-0 the count on Chauvin, who It's 1 for 2 today. Doubled and scored in the first. Flew out to right in the third. He's 2 for 10 in the series. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a line drive to center, but right at Tanner Maloney. He's got it to retire the side. Chauvin hit it on the nose, but right to Tanner in center field. The Rockets strand a man. We go to the bottom of the fifth. The Broncos trailing 1-0. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
There were no runs on 1 hit with no errors and 1 runner left on base. Your score stands Toledo 1, Western Michigan 0. Bronco fans, as a reminder, it's Sunday, so that means kids get to run the bases following the conclusion of today's game. Meet the marketing team by the home dugout for your chance to take a lap around the diamond.
I won't lie, I'm straight by.
Making his way to the plate, number 27, Nolan Zajac.
Broncos bat here in the fifth. Nolan Zajac will lead it off. In the top of the order, Maloney and Hums. Kicking the pitch inside. Backed him away. 1 ball, no strikes. Fliss, 71 pitches thrown. He's given up just 1 hit, 4 walks. He struck out 4. Working here in the 5th inning to Zajac. That pitch is over but low. 2-0 on Nolan Zajac. Play him a little bit around the left, not deep in the outfield. Infielders are back. Pitch is in there for a strike. Two balls, 1 strike on Zajac. The kick of the pitch, bouncer in the left field for a base hit. Scooped up by the center fielder Arsic. Got it between the shortstop and the second base bag for a base hit for Zajac. His first of the weekend. Leadoff man aboard. Here's Tanner. Maloney bounced out to short in the first inning and laid down a sacrifice bunt in the third. Swing and a miss on a pitch that was low. 1 strike on Tanner Maloney. They're overloading the left side. 3 infielders on the left side of second base. Tanner, who can handle the bat, has a huge hole over on the right side. Pitch is in there for a strike. Fliss is pitching, though, to the defensive alignment. He's pitching inside to Tanner Maloney. If he puts one out over the plate, Tanner's going to slap it to right. Here's the 0-2. And he bounces one over to second base. They flip to the shortstop for 1, and they won't get Maloney. Second baseman Brian Sunbrook, who was on the shortstop side of second, fielded that ball. On on the right side of the bag and then flipped it back to the shortstop, Shulman, covering, but no opportunity to get Tanner at first. So he's on at first base with 1 out for Cooper Hums. Here's the set and the throw to first. They're thinking what everybody in the stadium is thinking. Tanner Maloney's going to steal second base. He quite often takes an extra 90. He's 14 for 17 in the stolen base category. Takes another throw and gets back with a head first dive. Cooper Hums. No official at bat today as he was hit by a pitch in the first and walked in the third. Another throw to first. That was scooped up by Wagner at first base. Had one of those errant pickoff attempts with Malley at first base yesterday, and he ended up on third. Hums, a left-handed hitter against the righty. Fliss, the kick and the pitch. Popped up into left center field. Campbell drifting back. He's under it and reaches back and makes the catch. That ball was drifting on him with the help of the wind, and he reached back. It's the last minute, about 10 feet in front of the 375 mark, and hauled in Cooper Hums' fly ball. So Malley still down there at first base, now with 2 outs, and here's Howard. Fliss working from the first base side of the rubber. The pitch up high, 1 ball, no strikes. Howard trying to move Malley along and give Maloney a chance to tie this game up. Another toss to first. Malley gets back. Set by Fliss. And the pitch. Outside, 2-0. Broncos softball team playing game 3 of a weekend series at Ball State. They won both games yesterday, 5-2 and 4-1. Last report they were leading in game 3 of that series. We'll check that out here in our next opportunity and also take a look at some of the other scores in the Mid-American Conference. But first, a conference at the mound as Jacob Condra-Bogan, the pitching coach, in his first season at Toledo, is walking out to have a word with Fliss, and the Rocket bullpen gets up and active. Right-hander loosening up in the Rocket bullpen. Fliss this year has appeared in 13 games, and this is his 4th start of the season, 26 innings. Opponents are hitting .343 on him, but he's held the Broncos to just 2 hits. He's a big man out there on the mound, 225 pounds. Backs Drew Howard away. It's now 3-0. Maybe running out of gas. And actually that was
number 12, Maloney.
Pitch number 4 out of the strike zone and lost count there. Howard goes down to first. That'll bring out Maloney. Malley, the runner at second. Howard, the runner at first. And Mike Maloney with a chance to tie this game. The pitch. Bounced it up there. 1 ball, no strikes on Maloney. Mike's been the man to drive in the runs this weekend. 4 runs batted in. Here's the pitch to him. That hit him in the backside, and he's on. The bases are loaded with 2 out.
Batting next for your Broncos, number 20, Mark Maloney.
Broncos have him loaded, and here comes Meneke, and here comes head coach Rob Reinstedel. And looks like we'll have a pitching change. We'll tell you about it here in a moment. You're listening to Western Michigan Baseball on YouTube Live at WMUBroncos.com. Fliss goes 4 2/3 innings. He gives up no runs on 2 hits. He walked 5 and struck out 4 through 85 pitches. And you can see he was running out of gas out there. Quick check of the softball scoreboard, and Western Michigan sweeps the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie. They won yesterday 5-2 and 4-1 to take a doubleheader, and they win the 3rd and final game of the series today. They defeated Ball State in Muncie 13-3. So congratulations to the Broncos softball team. A sweep on the road. Nate Langman will come on and pitch for the Rockets. He pitched in Friday's game. Got the save in relief of the starter, Nathan Leininger. This will be his 13th appearance. 23 2/3 innings of work. He's given up 17 hits, 11 runs, all earned. 14 walks, 37 strikeouts. Opponents hitting just 198 on Nate Langman, who has a 1-0 record of 4.18 earned run average. 6'4", 215-pound sophomore right-hander out of Rothschild, Wisconsin, a transfer from Wichita State. And he'll face Mark Meneke, batting in the 5-hole today. Mark lined out to the shortstop, hit it sharply in the second, and then hit a deep fly ball to left center field that was tracked down by Campbell for an out. He's got the bases loaded here with 2 out in the 5th. The pitch. Breaking ball in for a strike on Meneke. 1 strike on Mark. Tying run 90 feet away. Left-handed hitter against the righty Langman. The set and the pitch. Outside, 1-1. Broncos all on the top step of the dugout. Rockets likewise enjoying the warm temperatures here in Kalamazoo today after a pretty brisk game 1 and 2 here at Himes. Here's the 1-1 from Langman. Outside, 2-1. Meneke's ahead in the count. Malley, the runner at second. Howard, I should say Malley, the runner at third. Howard, the runner at second. Maloney on at first base. 2-1 the count on Meneke. The pitch. Outside, 3-1. Langman has 14 walks in 23 2/3 innings. He's behind Meneke, 3-1. No place to put him. Tying run at third base. Long look, now the pitch. There's a strike. At the knees. Meneke was looking for something in one spot. It wasn't in the spot he was looking for, so he took the 3-1. Now the bases are loaded with 2 out. Runners will be moving on the pitch. The 3-2 coming up to Mark Meneke. Runners going, and the ball is fouled at the plate. Meneke just got a piece of it off the end of the bat. It was an off-speed pitch from Langman. Malley back to third. Anderson, Drew Howard, I should say, back to second, and Maloney back to first. Meneke digs back in. Trying to come up with a big base hit here. 3-2 count. 2 outs here in the 5th. And the pitch. Swing and a shot. Gloved by the third baseman. And Sudbrook throws out Meneke. That was hit sharply the opposite way, and Troy Sudbrook scooped it off the dirt and throws him out to end the threat. We go to the 6th. The Broncos strand 3. They trail Toledo 1-0. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live at WMUBroncos.com.
With no errors and 3 runners left on base. After 5 innings, Toledo 1, Western Michigan 0. Bronco fans, your support powers our student athletes. The Bronco Athletic Fund helps provide scholarships, travel, equipment, and resources so our teams can compete at the highest level. Every gift makes a difference. Visit WMUBroncos.com/BAF to be a part of Bronco athletic success. Now batting for Toledo, number 8, Troy Sudbrook.
Here we go in the 6th. Sudbrook, who made the big play there to win the inning with the bases loaded and 2 out, is the leadoff man here in the 6th. Meneke hit it sharply to the glove side of Sudbrook, and it was hugging the ground. He stayed down on it and made the play. There's a strike called at the belt. 1-1 on Troy Sudbrook. He has the game's only RBI. He drove in Shulvin in the 1st inning after Shulvin had doubled. Sudbrook singled him in for the game's only run. 2-1 now, the count on Troy Sudbrook. The kick and the pitch from Ricky Kidd. Bouncer down the line at first, blocked by Thielman. The toss to Kidd in time. They get him by a half a step. That ball was hit sharply, and Thielman played it off his chest, gathered it up, and flipped to Kidd covering the bag.
11, Jacob K.
One down here in the Rockets' 6th inning. That'll bring up Payne. Payne hit into a fielder's choice in the first and flew out to right in the 4th. Right-handed hitting catcher from Panama City, Florida. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a chopper that is through and into left field for a base hit. Between Maloney and Pilarski on the left side of the infield. A 1-out single for Payne that'll bring up Carson McCaleb.
Now batting number 10, Carson McCaleb.
Left-handed hitting DH. He's 0 for 2 today. Flew out to right and lined out to right. Cooper Hums retiring him twice. Here's the pitch. He squares the bunt, pulls it back. 1 ball, no strikes on McCaleb from Missouri, Lake St. Louis. Three for 11 in the series. Way out in front of the changeup from Ricky Kidd. 1 ball and 1 strike. Swing and a foul tip into the glove. Transfer from Mineral Area Community College, Carson McCaleb. He's a catcher. He's been DHing today with Payne handling the catching duties, in fact, all week. Caleb's been the DH, and Payne the catcher. Ball and 2 strikes. The pitch to him. And that hit him on the elbow guard. And down to first he goes. Where's one for Toledo? Runners at first and second and 1 out. And the batter is Arsich.
17, Liam Arsich.
Arsich has been out there in center field all weekend. Freshman out of Makina, Illinois. Been on base twice today with a couple of walks. Stole the base in the 4th inning after getting the free pass. Lincoln Way Central High School fouls this one back, and Ricky's ahead now. No balls and 2 strikes on the hitter Arsich. Three for 8 with a couple of runs scored and a double for Arsich this weekend. Here's the 0-2 outside. 1-2 on Liam Arsich. Payne, the runner at second base. McCaleb on at first. The 1-2 on the way to Arsich is lined into center field for a base hit. Tanner Malley scoops it up, and they will hold the runner at third as Payne held up to make sure that ball got through the infield. And it was held up down there at third base. Batter will be Campbell. Coach Ryan Stedel coaching down at third base today. So now the bases are loaded, and the batter is Campbell. He's 0 for 2 today. Bounced into a double play in the second and grounded out to second in the 4th. Broncos could use a ground ball right here. There's a pitch inside, ball 1. Changed up on him. And it stayed up on Saborn Campbell from Bloomfield Hills. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Swing and a chopper that is fair. Pilarski throws to first. And now they're going to say foul ball. Pilarski fielded that ball, crossing over the bag, went back and touched it for the force, and then threw to first, thinking it might be a double play opportunity, but they ruled it a foul ball. So 1 strike to count on Campbell. Runners back to their bases. Payne at third, McCaleb at second, Arcich the runner at first. 1-0 Toledo. Set by Ricky. The pitch. Breaking ball. Stayed inside. That was close. 2 balls and a strike. Ricky Kidd now at 78 pitches. Looking for a ground ball right here. The pitch. Swing and a chopper to third. Foul. 2-2 the count. Bronco dugout encouraging Kidd to win the battle, and that it is right now. Opponent's hitting .253 on Ricky Kidd this year. It's been a valuable pickup. The 2-2 swung on and popped up on the infield. Maloney calls for it, makes the catch. That's a big out for Ricky. 2 out now, and the base is loaded. And the batter will be J.P. Wagner.
Now the plate, number 12, J.P. Wagner.
Wagner has hit the ball sharply twice off of Ricky here today. He lined out to second base in the second and singled in the 5th. First pitch to him is over but low. 1 ball, no strikes. Ricky looks in for the sign. Now he's got it, working from the first base side of the rubber. 1-0 pitch. Strike right down the middle. Wagner kind of crowds the plate. He backed away, but that pitch was right in there. Another pitch that is borderline, ruled a ball. 2-1. Played in 29 games last year for the Rockets. Played in 54 games the previous year. 2-1 the pitch. Swing and a fly ball into right center field. Malley is over and under it, and he makes the catch. And Ricky Kidd gets out of a jam, leaves the bases loaded, and gets 2 consecutive outs to end the threat. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still Toledo 1, Western Michigan nothing. This is Western Michigan Baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
Top of the 6th for the Rockets, there were no runs on 2 hits with no errors and 3 runners left on base. Your score stays Toledo 1, Western Michigan 0. Bronco fans, it's time for the winning inning. If Western Michigan scores at least 1 run, a few lucky fans will be going home with a prize courtesy of Western Michigan Athletics.
Thielman, Rowald, and Pilarski, the scheduled hitters for the Broncos here in the 6th. First pitch to Thielman is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Nate Langman on in relief of the starter, Michael Fliss. Langman pitched in Friday's win. Came on out of the bullpen to relieve the starter, Nathan Leininger. Was outstanding. Broncos got to Langman, but fell short in a 3-2 loss. 1-1 to count now on Thielman after a foul ball backing out of play. Avery has been on base twice with walks in the 2nd and 4th innings. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a bouncer into right center field for a base hit. Past a diving second baseman, Ryan Sundbrook. And the Broncos have their leadoff man on. Batter is Josh Polubinski. He's going to bat for Mason Pilarski. A correction for Jacob Rowald.
Hitting for your Broncos, number 17, Josh Polubinski.
Polubinski pinch hitting for Rowald. Polubinski was 2 for 5 yesterday with an RBI and a run scored. Facing Langman with a runner at first and nobody out. The pitch. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. And you can bet Polubinski isn't up there to bunt. He's a big man. He wants to drive something in the gap here. They play him deep and straight away. 1-0 count on him. Langman, long look to first, the pitch. Swing and a foul. Polubinski, 6'5", 209-pounder out of Fort Scott Community College, Plainfield, Illinois. Ball and a strike. Langman to the belt. And the pitch. Strike called. Caught the outside corner, 1-2. Was a changeup, and Polubinski was looking for something else. 1-2 the count on him. He'll be protecting here with 2 strikes. Throw to first, and Thielman gets back. Pilarski, the on-deck hitter. Nobody out. Broncos with just 3 hits today off Rocket pitching, including that one just now by Thielman. Here's the 1-2 to Polubinski. Swing and a foul down the right field line onto the berm. Out of play. Polubinski hanging in there as he let that ball travel and then fouled it off. Rockets with 1 run on 6 hits, no errors. They've left 7 on base. Broncos with no runs on 3 hits, no errors. They've left 8 runners on base. They benefited from some walks, but haven't been able to drive them in. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2-2 to Polubinski. Big, strong right-handed hitter. Stands deep in the box, slightly open at the plate. Slight crouch. Bat high over the right shoulder. The 2-2. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of the catcher, Payne, and Polubinski goes down on strikes. 1 down. That'll bring up Mason Pilarski.
Batting next for Western Michigan, number 10, Mason Pilarski.
Pilarski struck out swinging in the 2nd, flew out to center in the 4th. Looking for his first hit of the series. 0 for 9 so far. There's a throw to first. The runner gets back. That's Avery Thielman, who's singled here to lead off the 6th inning. Broncos need one to tie. Trailing 1-0. Only run of the game. An RBI single by Troy Sudbrook back in the first. The set by Langman. The pitch. In there. Strike at the knees with a changeup. No balls and 1 strike on Mason Pilarski out of De La Salle High School. Macomb, Michigan native. Open stance at the plate for Pilarski. The 0-1 pitch coming up from Langman. Swing and a line drive foul. Ooh. Some fans over there on the berm had to duck out of the way of that shot. It was hit sharply. They're sitting at the top of the berm near the sidewalk on a warm, partly cloudy day here in Kalamazoo. No balls and 2 strikes on Pilarski. Langman to the belt. The pitch up high. Breaking pitch stayed up in the zone. Mason laid off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zajac, the scheduled hitter, following Pilarski. And then it's back to the top of the order. 1-2 pitch. High, 2-2. Langman's pitch count now at 16. Came on to replace the starter Fliss, who worked into the 5th. 2-2 on the way. Ball outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Good take there by Pilarski. Now he's worked the count to full as the wind picks up a little bit, blowing out to right center field toward the West End bleachers at Waldo Stadium. The payoff pitch coming up from Langman. Runners going. Swinging a line drive, base hit to right field. That'll drop and advance Thielman to third base. The ball is bobbled by the right fielder. Thielman's going to try to score, and he will, standing up. The Broncos go with a hit and run on 3-2, and Pilarski delivered. Hit a shot to right. Thielman was off on the pitch. And then the right fielder, Baker, bobbled the ball, and Coach Rebant down there at third coaching waved in Thielman, who scored standing up, and the Broncos have tied it here at 1 apiece in the 6th. The threat continues with Pilarski down there at second base. That's a big hit by a freshman, Mason Pilarski. Now Zajac will bat. Zajac's been on base twice today, walked and singled. He's got a chance to put the Broncos in the lead. Tied at 1 in this critical game between 2 MAC front runners. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch outside to Nolan. 2-0 the count. Mason Pilarski, that might be his biggest hit so far as a Bronco. He can sure pick it down there at third base, though. 2-0 on Zajac. The pitch. Check swing, and it's ruled a strike. '25th hit of the season for Mason. But that drives in a big, big run. Here's a pop foul back and out of play. 10th RBI of the season for Mason. Might not get an RBI though. That run might have been scored due to the error by Baker. The 2-2 pitch on the way. High and away to Zajac. Nolan takes it for a ball. 3-2. Count is full. Nobody warming in the Toledo bullpen. Payoff pitch coming up with a runner at second and run in. Tie game here in the 6th. The pitch. Swing and a chopper foul down the first baseline. That was hugging the line, and then as it got to the bag, it went wide by about a foot. Himes field organist firing up the troops. Payoff pitch coming up to Zajac with a go-ahead run at second base. Langman to the belt. The look to second. Delivers. Inside, ball 4, and Zajac draws a walk.
Back to the plate for your Broncos, number 2, Maloney.
Now the Broncos bring in the top of the order, but first a conference at the mound with pitching coach Jacob Kondrabogen. His first season handling the pitching staff for coach Rob Reinstedel at Toledo. That'll give us a chance to check that out-of-town scoreboard in the Mid-American Conference. A final from Bowling Green. Central Michigan takes the series 2-1 from the Falcons at Stellar Field. They won today 21-13. Obviously the wind blowing out at Stellar Field today. They're in the top of the 5th in the rivalry matchup. Ohio at Miami, McKee Field in Oxford. And the Redhawks have an 11-5 lead on Ohio, trying to win that series. Top of the 6th, Akron trying to salvage one in the 3-game set with Ball State, leading the Cardinals 5-4. Cardinals have come from behind in each of the first 2 games in that series to pick up wins. Top of the 6th in Ypsilanti, Ostrike Stadium. Eastern Michigan leading UMass 7-6. And in Northern Illinois, they're in the bottom of the 6th. First place Kent State trailing Northern Illinois 5-2. Here's Malley. The kick on the pitch. Swing and a bouncer to short. Could be 2. Oh, and it got by the shortstop. Into left field. Into score comes Pilarski. Down to third goes Zajac. And into second, Tanner Malley. Oh, the shortstop, Chauvin, just booted a double play ball. It would have, very least, got the force at second base. Might not have been able to double up Malley, but they don't get anybody. And a second error by Toledo. The Broncos take the lead, and their threat continues with runners at second and third. Still only one out. Here's Cooper Hums. Infield is in now. The set, the pitch. Swing and a miss by Cooper Hums. Well, the Rockets play on turf over at Scott Park in Toledo. And traveling around the league, most of these fields are turf, at least in the infield. But not here. Good old Mother Earth in Kalamazoo. And that one might have jumped up and bit him because of it. Here's a squeeze play, and the bunt goes foul. That was a true squeeze because Zajac was coming down the line. Not a safety squeeze. Safety squeeze, you want to bunt it to the right side towards the second baseman. Hums tried to drop that down the third baseline with Zajac breaking from third. Fouled it off, though. No balls and 2 strikes. Malley at second. Zajac at third. Cooper Hums trying to deliver another run or two with a base hit. The set by Langman. The pitch. Swing and a foul. Cooper let that ball travel and fouled it back. A 2-run 6th inning here for Western Michigan. And they've been aided by 2 rocket airs. One in the outfield by Baker and Wright, and one by the shortstop Chauvin. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Swing and tip foul at the plate. Just got a piece of that one. Cooper fouled it off to stay alive as the wind picks up here. Blowing a lot harder out to right center field. Cooper out a home run threat, but there's always a first one. No balls, 2 strikes. The kick and the pitch. Up high, that one got away from the catcher. Maloney was almost to third base. He has to hustle back. Not nearly far enough for Zajac to try and break from third on that ball that got by Payne off the tip of his glove. The count is now 1-2 on Cooper Hums, with Maloney getting a huge lead down there at second base with the infield playing in. Maloney could maybe score on a ground ball in the infield. Here's the pitch, swing and a chopper to first, into right field for a base hit. Over the diving glove of the first baseman. Wagner into score, comes Zajac diving into home plate safely. Tanner Maloney down to second goes Cooper Hums. A 2-run single by Hums, and the Broncos lead it now 4-1.
Batting next for Broncos, number 3, Drew Howard.
Clutch base hit by Cooper Hums, and with the infield in, that was able to sneak past the diving first baseman J.P. Wagner into right, and it was enough to score both runners, Zajac and Maloney, who had a huge lead down there at second base with the infield in. Now, runner at second, still only 1 out, and the batter is Drew Howard. Langman to the belt. Looks at Hums at second, the pitch. Outside to Howard, 1 ball, no strikes to Drew. A huge game in the MAC here today. The winner takes the series. Broncos leading 4-1. The set by Langman, and the pitch way outside. Howard, he takes it for a ball. 2-0 to Drew. Looking for his first hit today. Struck out looking in the first, bounced into a fielder's choice in the third, walked in the fifth. 2 for 8 in the series with 3 walks. Scored a run and an RBI. The pitch lays off, a pitch outside, 3-0. Broncos RBI machine in the on-deck circle, Michael Maloney. Three balls and no strikes on Drew Howard. Runner at second, 1 out. 4 runs in. There's a strike. Taking all the way there. Caught the inside corner, 3-1 now on Howard. Howard has a home run. Hit one here a couple weeks ago in the UMass series. 3-1 pitch to him. Outside corner for a strike. Ian Land took a long look at it and went up with the right hand. It was Ian who made the out call at first base yesterday to help the Broncos take game 2 on that controversial play that ended in 2 Rocket coaching ejections. Here's the 3-2. Swing, line drive into right field for a base hit. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Howard rounding first, heading to second. He's going to leg out a triple. Into score comes Hums, diving into third with a triple. Drew Howard. It's 5-1 Western Michigan. Oh, the Broncos kicking up their heels here in the 6th inning on reliever Nate Langman. And activity in the Rocket bullpen. That'll bring up Maloney, and that'll bring out Coach Reinstedel, as Langman, who worked Friday, called upon again here on Sunday, and the Broncos rough him up. Five runs on 6 hits, no errors for Western Michigan. 1 run on 6 hits, 2 errors. 7 left on base for Toledo, and they've committed 2 costly errors that have kept this inning going. We got a new pitcher for Toledo. We'll tell you about him in a moment. Broncos take the lead here in the 6th. Broncos 5, Toledo 1. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live at WMUBroncos.com.
Now pitching for Toledo, number 19, Braden Curry.
Well, congratulations to men's tennis coach Dave Marine and his Bronco men's tennis squad. They won the program's 30th Mid-American Conference regular season championship after defeating UIC 5-2 on the road on Saturday. The Broncos 15-9, 8-2 in the MAC. Put the pressure on early after winning the doubles point, and they went on to secure the victory. Broncos finished the regular season tied with Buffalo as co-MAC champions. The Bulls hold the tiebreaker over the Broncos due to the total points scored in the 2 matches between the 2 teams. So WMU will head to Buffalo for the 2026 MAC Tournament Championships. Broncos will play in the 2nd semifinal match on Saturday at 2 against Northern Illinois. The Bulls will play 4th-seeded Ball State on Saturday at 10 o'clock. The MAC Tournament Championship is scheduled for next Sunday at 1 o'clock in Buffalo. Another ring for Dave Marine and the Bronco men's tennis squad. Congratulations to them. Here comes Maloney now. New pitcher is Braden Curry for Toledo. Curry comes out to make his 13th appearance. Right-hander, works from the first base side of the rubber and delivers one in the dirt. Ball 1 to Maloney. 18 2/3 innings of work for Braden Curry. He's given up 15 hits, 19 runs, all earned. 29 walks, 30 strikeouts. Opponent's hitting .227 on this lanky righty. 6'3", 150 pounds. Bounce one up, it goes all the way to the screen and in to score with the 6th run of the game for the Broncos. Drew Howard. That was your old 57-footer back to the screen. Sophomore out of White House, Ohio, went to Anthony Wayne High School. They put out a lot of athletes. 6'3", 150-pound sophomore. 1-1 the count on Maloney. The pitch. That's outside. 2-1 on Mike. A 6-run inning, helped in part by 2 rocket errors and a wild pitch. Broncos trying to take this series. There's the pitch from Curry. Check swing in for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Play Mike deep and straight away. Leads the Broncos in home runs with 5. He could get one up into the breeze out there to right center and take one out of here, but instead he takes a call third strike on the outside corner to retire the second Bronco hitter. And Curry gets the strikeout. That'll bring out Mark Meneke.
Next for your Broncos, number 20, Mark Meneke.
Meneke steps in there with 2 out and nobody on. 6 runs in for the Broncos. The set by Curry. The pitch swung on and missed. 1 strike on Mark. He's looking for his first hit today. Boy, he's made a bid all 3 times. Lined out to short in the second. Lined out to the left fielder who made an over-the-shoulder running grab in the 4th. And then in a bullet to the third baseman who ended a bases loaded threat for the Broncos in the 5th. There's a swing and a miss. And Curry coming out of the bullpen, except for that wild pitch. He's dealing. He got Maloney on strikes, and he's ahead 0-2 on Mark Meneke. 0-2 pitch coming up. Here it is. Swing and a pitch in the dirt. Bobbled by the catcher. Throw down to first, and he comes down on the bag, and they get Meneke to retire the side. But the Broncos put 6 on the board in the 6th and lead it 6-1. We go to the 7th. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the bottom of the 6th inning for Western Michigan, your Broncos scored 6 runs on 4 hits with 2 errors and no runners left on base. After 6 innings, your Broncos lead 6-2 Rockets 1. Western Michigan baseball is headed up to LMCU Ballpark on Wednesday, April 15th to face off against the Michigan State Spartans at 6:05 p.m. Grab your tickets today by visiting WMUBroncos.com/LMCU game.
Look at the night, and the dawn seems so lonely. We fill it up with only.
All right, fans. That initial run scored by Mason Pilarski is good for the winning inning. Several lucky fans will get a prize courtesy of Western Michigan Athletics.
Broncos have a midweek game up at the home of the West Michigan Whitecaps.
Now batting for Toledo,
Single-A affiliate of
number 4,
the
Ryan
Detroit Tigers.
Sucra.
Broncos will take on Michigan State up there at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park Wednesday at 6:05. Plan to have the audio stream for you right here on WMUBroncos.com. So go to WMUBroncos.com, go to the Bronco baseball page, click on the audio link, and we'll bring you the broadcast on Wednesday from LMCU ballpark against the Michigan State Spartans. We move to the 7th. The Broncos on top by a score of 6-1. And Ryan Sunbrook leads it off. 9-1 two-hitters scheduled up for the Rockets in the 7th inning. Ricky Kidd back out there. He's heading the count 0-1. That pitch is outside for a ball, 1-1. Ricky has thrown 87 pitches. There's a foul backing out of play. Sam Carlisle went over the 100 pitch mark yesterday, and Zach Riesinga threw 114 pitches in the 3-2 Friday loss. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a bouncer to short. Maloney over's got it near the bag. Guns it over to first in time to get the speedy Ryan Sudbrook. He got down there in a hurry, but Maloney with a strong throw to first. One down here in the Rocket 7th.
7, Cade Baker.
That'll bring up Baker. He's 1 for 3. Struck out in the first, doubled in the third, and fouled out in the 5th to Thielman down the first baseline. First pitch to him is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Cade Baker. He's got 5 hits in this series. There's a little looper into right. Under it, Cooper Hums makes the catch. Ricky Kidd.
Now to plate, number 5.
It's another out.
Charlie Schulden.
He might just come out. If they get a quick out here, he might come out for the 8th. Charlie Schulden steps in, the shortstop. Scored Toledo's only run. Had a 1-out double in the first inning and scored on an RBI single by Troy Sudbrook. That run stood up until the Broncos plated 6 in the 6th inning to take the lead. 6-1. Here's a pitch. This is popped up over by the Rocket bullpen. Thielman giving chase, and it's going to drop safely there by the tarp. 1 ball, 1 strike on Schulden with 2 out here in the Rockets' 7th inning. Broncos trying to hand Toledo their 19th loss. Here's the 1-1 on the way. And hit him in the back. Maybe on the arm, front arm. He's got a lot of padding though, so he'll trot down to first base.
Next up to bat, number 8, Troy Sudbrook.
Takes off all the shielding he had on there in the batter's box. Didn't have any of that when I played. If you wore it, you felt it. Here is Sudbrook standing in. Rockets leading hitter. Drove in the Rockets' only run today with a single in the first inning. Kidd goes over to first base. The runner gets back. Sudbrook stands back in there. Big, strong, left-handed hitting third baseman. Another throw to first. Redshirt junior. Been at Toledo his career, and he has really blossomed into a big-time player after redshirting as a freshman. Takes the first pitch in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Runner at first. 2 out here in the Rocket 7th. Broncos plays Sudbrook deep and straight away. Hums 10 feet from the warning track out there and right with the wind blowing out. And Meneke the other way on and the left. Near the warning track, and Tanner Malley 20 feet in front of the 395 mark. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Big rip and a high fastball. Ricky blew it by him. He's ahead of Sudbrook. No balls and 2 strikes. Chauvin gets his lead at first. Thielman holding him on. The pitch outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Broncos stay with the traditional look on the infield, although Howard is on the edge of the grass at second base. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. And the side is retired. Ricky Kidd gets Troy Sudbrook on strikes. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Western Michigan 6, Toledo 1. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live at WWBroncos.com.
With no errors and 1 runner left on base. Your score: Broncos 6, Rockets 1. Bronco fans, get on your feet and join us as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." For the guest the time of the 7th inning stretch is Nikki R. Nikki R., please visit the marketing table to claim your prize.
Broncos batter the 7th. They lead it 6-1, trying to take this series from the Rockets.
Avery Thielman.
Thielman will lead it off, followed by Polubinski and Pilarski. Thielman today has been on base all 3 times. Couple of walks and a single. He scored a run. Takes the first pitch for his strike. 1 strike, the count. Braden Curry, the 3rd Rocket pitcher today. Ricky Kidd's gone all the way for Western Michigan. The 1 strike pitch. Outside 1-1. Tigers over at Comerica Park on top of the Miami Marlins 7-1. They're in the 7th inning. Home runs by Dylan Dingler, Kerry Carpenter, and Kevin McGonigal. The rookie got his first career home run today in Detroit. There's a pitch inside, 2-1. Have a day indeed, Avery Thielman, as the fans encourage him here to get on base for a 4th time today. 2-1 on the way. Swing, and he will. There's a base hit down the line and right. Could be extra bases. Thielman rounds first, heads to second, and he is in with a stand-up double. Avery Thielman, 2 for 2 and a pair of walks.
Batting next, number 17, Josh Polubinski.
Avery had been slumping a little bit, and Meneke was getting time over there at first base as a result, but coach turned to Thielman yesterday and he delivered, and he has delivered again today. Here's Polubinski. He came on to pinch hit for Rowald last inning and struck out swinging. First pitch from Curry is outside. 1 ball, no strikes to Josh Polubinski. He's hitting .291. .238 hitter with runners in scoring position. And of course, he hit that big grand slam in the 9th inning comeback victory last weekend at Central Michigan. 1 ball, no strikes, the pitch. Caught the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Play Josh deep and straight away in the outfield. Ball and a strike to Josh, and he takes a strike on the outside corner at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Polubinski. Fort Scott Community College for the first 2 years of his baseball career past high school. 1-2 pitch to him. Swing and a miss. And Polubinski is out on strikes. The pitch was inside, up tight on Josh. He passes along some intel to Mason Pilarski.
Batting next, number 10, Mason Pilarski.
Pilarski came up with a big hit in the 6th inning. With a runner at first. Delivered down the line and right. The ball was bobbled and allowed Thielman to come all the way around and score. Thielman's at second base this time, and Pilarski takes a first pitch from Curry in there for a strike at the letters. 1 strike on Pilarski. He is 1 for 3 today. Struck out in the 2nd, flew out to center in the 4th, singled and scored in the 6th. Here's the 1 strike pitch. Swing and a miss on a ball that bounced up there. Committed too soon and swings at 1 out of the zone. He's down in the countdown. No balls and 2 strikes. Set by Curry. The look to second, the pitch. Swing and a slow roller to third. Sudbrook scoops it up and fires it across the diamond to get Pilarski. Thielman advances to third base as Sudbrook had to come in on the grass to field that ball. Allowed Thielman to advance from second to third. Good base running by Avery.
Number 27, Nolan Zajac.
Gonna bring up Zajac. Nolan's been on base all day. He walked in the 3rd, singled in the 5th, walked and scored in that 6th run, 6th inning. Right-handed hitter against the righty, Braden Curry. The kick and the pitch. Up high, 1 ball, no strikes on Zajac. Play him medium depth in the outfield. The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. Zajac is 1 for 5 in the series with 3 walks. 1-1 to count. The pitch to him. Swing and a foul backing out of play. Broncos not known for the long ball. They get one occasionally, but they move the ball all over the diamond. And just watch today's game and you'll see that. Going the opposite way, driving in runs, moving runners up. There's a swing and a miss on a changeup. He got by the catcher Payne. He'll fire down to first to complete the strikeout. Nolan Zajac is out. They strand Thielman at third. We go to the 8th. The Broncos 6 outs away from a series win. It's the Broncos 6, Toledo 1. This is Western Michigan Baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
In the bottom of the 7th inning for Western Michigan, the Broncos scored no runs on 1 hit with no errors and 1 runner left on base. After 7 innings, your Broncos lead at 6 to Rockets 1.
Check that out-of-town scoreboard. Central Michigan clobbered Bowling Green 21-13 at BG to take that series 2-1. Miami on their way to taking the series with Ohio. Miami leads the Bobcats 17-6 in the 7th inning in Oxford, Ohio today. Ohio was able to pick up 1 win in that weekend series to help Western Michigan. Akron trying to help the Broncos. They lead Ball State 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th in Muncie.
Batting for Toledo,
UMass leads Eastern Michigan
in
Ypsilanti today 13-11. They're in the bottom of the 6th. And Northern Illinois on top of Kent State in the top of the 9th. We'll keep an eye on that one. The first place Flash is trailing Northern Illinois 5-2. Ricky Kidd back out there for the 8th inning. And the first pitch to Payne is popped up foul near the Bronco dugout. Pilarski reaches up and hauls it in. 1 pitch and 1 out for Ricky Kidd. DJ Thompson warming up in the bullpen for Western
at the plate,
Michigan.
Number 10, Carson McCaleb.
Here's McCaleb to bat. 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch. Left-handed hitter against the righty Ricky Kidd. There's a swing and a pop fly foul and bounces over the fence into the bullpen out of play. 1 strike on McCaleb. Kent State came into play today in first place with 4 losses, 13-4. Ball State and Toledo both at 12-5. So if all the scores hold, Northern Illinois, Western Michigan, and Miami, Toledo and Ball State would all be tied at 12-6 behind 13-5 Kent State. Wow. Still some outs to gain, though. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch fouled at the plate by McCaleb. 2-2. Balance in the top of the standings in the Mid-American Conference. 1 game would separate 6 teams. Here's the kick and the pitch. Swing and another foul right off the glove of the catcher, Zajac. Baseball protocol by Ian Land to walk that ball out to Ricky and let Nolan regain himself here after taking that foul ball. He says he's good, shakes his head. And the 2-2 on the way. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Ricky Kidd with his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Walking up to the plate, number 17, Liam Arsich.
Ricky with 24 strikeouts and 42 in the third innings coming into play today. Not a real strikeout pitcher, but boy, when he needs to go to the whip, he can do it. That's a slider that's up in the zone, called a strike. One strike on Arsic, the center fielder. Swing and a line drive into right field for a base hit. Hit it off the end of the bat, but had enough on it to get it over the head of Avery Thielman into right field. So a 2-out single by Arsic brings up Campbell.
Hitting next, number 14, Seaborn Campbell.
Transfer from Stanford out of Bloomfield Hills. Swings and hits one on a line out to left field, and Meneke reaches up and makes the catch. Campbell hit a shot, but right at Mark Meneke, who didn't have to move much at all, just reached up and grabbed it to retire the side. Ricky Kidd works 8 innings. We'll see if he comes out in the ninth. He's thrown 109 pitches. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's Western Michigan 6. Toledo 1. This is Western Michigan baseball on YouTube Live and WMUBroncos.com.
As a reminder, fans, it's Sunday, so that means kids can run the bases following the conclusion of today's game. Meet the marketing team by the home dugout for your chance to take a lap around the diamond. Now pitching for the Rockets, number 36, Ryan Hughes.
New pitcher for Toledo, Ryan Hughes, comes on for his 6th appearance. He's made 4 starts. 10 2/3 innings of work, 24 hits, 21 runs, 16 of those earned, 12 walks, 12 strikeouts. Opponent's hitting .429 on this right-hander. Tanner Malley leads it off for the Broncos. Takes the first pitch for his strike call. Hughes, 6'7", 200-pound redshirt junior from Cave Creek, Arizona. Transfer from Loyola Marymount. From Loyola Marymount and Cave Creek, Arizona to Toledo. Coach Ryan's finding him anywhere. Bounce that one up there to Tanner. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Malley. And Tanner slaps one into right for a base hit, his first hit of the game. Can't keep him off the base paths very long. He was safe on an error and scored in the 6th. 0 for 4 until that single to right for the nation's leading hitter. He's 1 for 5 for the day and a threat to steal at first base with Cooper Hums stepping up. Cooper had a big base hit. Singled in 2 in the 6th and scored in that 6-run 6th inning. There's a pitch that is outside for a ball, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes on Cooper Hums. Maloney, the runner at first, to lead off the bottom of the 8th. There he goes. Pitches in the dirt, throw down to second, not in time, and Tanner Maloney in with his stolen base. Sixteenth stolen base for Tanner Maloney. Gets his lead out there. Second base, and the pitch. Hums hits a shot out to center field, drifting back as Arcich makes the catch. Maloney goes back and tags and heads to third base. He's on third with 1 out. Cooper Hums hit that one sharply. Arcich ran it down in center field. Hums passing on some. Cooper Hums passing on some intel to Drew Howard, who now steps in there against Ryan Hughes, facing him for the first time today. The 4th Rocket pitcher. Right-handed hitter. Trying to pick up this run at third base. The pitch. In there for a strike. Off-speed pitch. Drew laid off. Tanner Maloney 90 feet away. Broncos lead it 6-1. Here's the set by Hughes and the pitch. Swing and a chopper to third. They're coming to the plate and they get Tanner with a tag at the plate trying to score. Fielder's choice. Drew Howard on at third base as Sudbrook cuts down Tanner Maloney trying to score on the bounce out. On the bouncer in the infield. So 2 out, here's Maloney.
Maloney.
Fielder's choice for Howard. He's at first base with 2 down. Broncos lead it 6-1. Bottom of the 8th. Here's the set by the reliever Hughes. And the pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Play Maloney deep and straight away. Infield is back with 2 out. Hughes to the belt. Long look at first. And the pitch. Outside. 1-1, make it 2-0 the count. 2-0 the count on Maloney. Mike singled in the second. Bounced into a fielder's choice in the third. Was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Struck out swinging in the 6th inning. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a chopper to third. Sudbrook's got it. Taps the glove. Fires across the diamond to retire Maloney. And the Broncos are down in the 8th, but that 6th run, 6th inning, holding up so far. Ricky Kidd coming out for the 9th. He's got the lead 6-1. This is Western Michigan Baseball on YouTube Live at WMUBroncos.com.
In the bottom of the 8th inning for Western Michigan, the Broncos scored no runs on 1 hit with no errors and 1 runner left on base. After 8 innings, your Broncos still lead 6-1. Batting for Toledo, number 12, J.P. Wagner.
Ricky Kidd out for the ninth, trying to finish this off. And the first pitch is taken upstairs for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Outside. 2-0 to Wagner, the first baseman, who is 1 for 3 today. Lined out to second, singled in the 5th, and flew out to right in the 6th. Takes a strike called at the belt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Kidd at 113 pitches. There's a foul into the glove of the catcher, Zajac. 2 strikes on Wagner. Broncos shift 3 infielders on the right side. The 2-2 popped up into shallow right center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Between Howard, actually that was Maloney out there chasing it. Maloney, who was playing on the right side of the infield. Hums and Malley all converging, and it dropped
number 4,
between all 3 of them.
Ryan Sudbrook.
Leadoff single. And the batter will be Ryan Sudbrook. But first, a conversation at the mound as Zach Putnam makes the slow walk out there. Ricky now with 115 pitches. That might just be what ends his day. A little bloop into right field. What a start, though, for Ricky Kidd. You know he wanted to finish this out and go the distance. You just don't see that much anymore. And they're going to leave him in. Zach Putnam. Satisfied. Ricky's okay. Wow. All right, Ryan Sudbrook stands in there. Sudbrook 0 for 3. The pitch up high, 1 ball, no strikes. Fouled out to Thielman in the 3rd. Grounded out in the 5th and in the 7th. 1 ball, no strikes on him. There's a strike at the letters on the outside corner, 1-1. Ian Land went up with the right hand. Kidd checks pitch com on the wrist. Working from the first base side of the rubber. The pitch. Over but low. 2-1. Out of Trenton, Michigan. Grad student. Transfer from Michigan. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a bouncer that is into left field for a base hit. 2 runners aboard. Nobody out. DJ Thompson has been tossing down there in the bullpen. Ricky is
number 7,
looking into the dugout. Here comes Coach Putnam, and he's going to make the change. So Ricky goes 8 full innings, 119 pitches. He allows 1 run on 9 hits, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. And he gets a standing ovation from the Bronco faithful. As his day is done, but what a day it was. He gave up a run in the 1st inning, and that was it. Teammates congratulate Ricky Kidd. What a job.
Now pitching for your Broncos.
Scattered 9 hits, surrendered 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 8 innings, 119 pitches. He's responsible for the 2 Rocket runners on a bloop single and a seeing eye ground ball. Here's DJ Thompson, Bronco veteran reliever, his 17th appearance, 18 1/3 innings, 16 hits, 5 runs on DJ, 4 earned runs. He's walked 12, struck out 19. Opponents hitting .235 on DJ Thompson with a 1.96 ERA. His record is 2-1. Not a save situation. He's just trying to preserve this win and give the Broncos the series 2-1. DJ pitched on Friday. Did well out of the bullpen. Held the Broncos in there, but they ended up losing 3-2. They won yesterday 8-6. They had a big inning yesterday. Yesterday it was the 3rd inning when they scored 5. Today it was the 6th when they scored 6. All 6 of their runs coming in that 6th inning. Rockets aren't going away quietly though. Back to the top of their order, chock full of hitters. Cade Baker steps in. He's 1 for 4 today. He's got 2 runners aboard, nobody out. DJ to the belt, the pitch. High, 1 ball, no strikes. Baker struck out in the 1st, doubled in the 3rd, fouled out to Thielman in the 5th, and flew out to right in the 7th. He's ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Thompson from the set, the pitch, swing, and a foul at the plate. Might have fouled that one off the front foot. Yeah, he did. He's trying to walk it off there behind the plate. Ball and a strike on the Whitney, Texas junior right fielder. In a group of 5 Rocket hitters in the top 14 in the conference in batting average. Here's the 1-1. That is a beautiful change piece in there for called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Baker. Broncos in double play depth on the infield. They play Baker deep and slightly around to left. The 1-2 coming up from Thompson. Here it is. Popped it up on the infield. Maloney calling for it. Just on the edge of the grass behind shortstop. He's got it. A big out for DJ Thompson as he gets Baker to pop up to the shortstop. That'll bring up Charlie Chauvin.
Now batting number 5, Charlie Chauvin.
The Rocket shortstop doubled off Kidd in the 1st inning and came in to score on a base hit by Troy Sudbrook, the only run of the game for the Rockets. He's got 2 runners aboard and 1 out. Just missed hitting him inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball from DJ, missed inside. Chauvin, after that double in the 1st, flew out to right in the 3rd, lined out to center in the 5th, and was hit by a pitch in the 7th. And he's hit by the pitch here in the 9th. Got him on the elbow protector, and that'll load the bases. He stands right on top of the plate, and he got plunked in the elbow.
Hitting next, number 8, Troy Sudbrook.
Throws the armor over by the dugout, and that'll bring up the Rockets' top hitter, Troy Sudbrook. Came in leading the Rockets with a .358 average. He's got a hit and an RBI today. 0 for 3 since then. The pitch. Popped it up into shallow left center field. Coming on is Meneke. Mark is there. He makes the catch. Runner at third tags. He will score. Sacrifice fly for Sudbrook as Wagner scores from third on the fly ball to Meneke and left. 2 outs though.
Number 11.
And the batter is the catcher, Jacob Payne. Sacrifice fly with the bases loaded and 1 out makes it 6-2 with 2 outs. And Payne will bat as DJ Thompson tries to close this out for Ricky Kidd. The pitch outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Slider stayed away. Runners at first and second, they get their lead. The pitch. Line drive down the line and right. That's going to drop for a base hit. Scooped up by Cooper Hums. He hustles it in. Another run scores. Ryan Sudbrook in to score. Makes it 6-3. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate. Solid single to right by
Out the box, number 10,
Jacob Payne.
Carson McCaleb.
Here comes Carson McCaleb. He's 0 for 3 and was hit by a pitch today. Flew out to right in the first, lined out to right in the fourth, hit by a pitch in the sixth, struck out swinging in the eighth. The pitch outside, 1 ball, no strikes. He represents the tying run with runners at first and third and 2 out. And McCaleb homered in this series. Took 1 out to right field yesterday. Here's the 1-0. Strike, fastball at the knees on the outside corner. A ball and a strike. The wind is blowing out gently to right center field. DJ Thompson trying to get this final out. The kick on the pitch. Swing and a chopper to first. That'll do it. Avery Thielman gloves it, steps on the bag to retire the side, and the Broncos win the series 2-1. Final score today, Western Michigan 6 and Toledo 3. The story in this one, starting pitching of Ricky Kidd. He went 8 innings, scattered 9 hits, was charged with 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Through 119 pitches, Ricky Kidd, the winning pitcher. And DJ Thompson comes in to close it out for the Broncos. Western Michigan with a 6-run 6th inning. Rallies from a 1-0 deficit, and they defeat Toledo here today 6-3. The line score for the Broncos, 6 runs on 8 hits, no errors. They left 10 runners on base. No errors by the Broncos. Toledo, 3 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors. They left 11 runners on base. The win goes to Ricky Kidd. He's now 4-1 for the Broncos. And the loss goes to the reliever, Nate Langman. Came on in relief of the starter, Michael Fliss, who ran out of gas in the 5th inning. Broncos 6 and Toledo 3 with the victory. The Broncos go to 17-15, now 12-6 in the MAC. The Toledo Rockets fall to 16-19. They're 12-6 in conference play. Broncos are at Eastern Michigan next week. But first, a midweek game at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park, home of the West Michigan Whitecaps. They'll take on Michigan State Wednesday at 6 o'clock. We'll bring you the audio of that broadcast right here on WMUBroncos.com. starting at 5:45 from LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park near Grand Rapids. I'm Robin Hook. Once again, the final score today: Western Michigan 6, Toledo 3. Have a great Sunday, everybody.